are you gentlemen doing?
Dude, I took one of those. I hadn't had a gummy in a while, and I popped 2 in my mouth the other day. Just making dinner. I was like, I want to be stoned after dinner, like during my movie. Oh God, I woke up at 4 in the morning. It put me out at like 9 p.m. and I woke up at 4 in the morning.
We get a lot.
I took 2 of the DBGs.
The big death by gut.
Yeah.
They're not fucking around kind.
For sure, my tolerance on those goes up and down depending on obviously how much I'm using.
Yeah.
But I hadn't had one in a month or something like that. So 2 knocked me fucking unconscious.
Is quadruple my dose. If I take half of one of those, and mostly I take one just as like a sleeping aid. I take one.
Yeah.
It does a couple things. It gives me lots of tolerance for this bedtime routine that I think takes too long, and it puts me to bed.
Cool. Whose routine is this that's taking so long?
It's basically putting Colin to sleep.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of pushback and it's a pain in the ass, and it goes like whatever.
I was picturing like American Psycho creams and
Jackie
and things.
No.
I'm like, oh, that's how Woody looks so young. It's not natural. It's,
it's just good lighting.
2 hours.
I imagine Jackie flipping the light switch on and off 8 times in every room in the house. I thought there was a ritual.
No,
Do you guys ever know anybody like that?
I was like that as a kid.
Everybody's like, I'm so OCD. I forget my keys all the time. Bro, that's not what OCD is. You're just dumb.
No, it's debilitating and it's terrible. For example, part of the nighttime routine, he plugs in his iPad to make sure it's charging. And then he hits the button to make sure it's charging. And he'll do that 60 times. Like
just to make sure it's still charging, right?
Yeah, it's still charging. 60 is an exaggeration, maybe 30, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's just like, I'm like, Colin, I want you to look at your iPad. Hold it, see that it's charging. Ask yourself, do I see that it's charging? And see that it's charging. And now when you turn it off, you'll remember, yes, it was definitely charging. And this works sometimes, but
like whenever I hear a problem like this, my little brain wants to make solutions for it. And I'm just like, what if his screen was projected onto the wall, really dim? And anytime he looked up from bed, he's like, yep, still charging.
Right? It's tempting to get into stuff like that, but that's not what he knows.
There's a base issue that's just not going to change. There's going to be an issue with the projector.
He's compelled to go through this cycle until
I've never experienced that in real life, or if I have, I'm sure the people that I've known like hit it for whatever reason. I guess it could be a little embarrassing if you're flipping light switches. I just always remember that movie As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson and the little fucking dog. It's a real 4-star movie.
OCD in it.
He does. He has severe OCD, and his gay neighbor gets hate crimed, and there's no one to watch the dog. And so Cuba Gooding Jr., who's the gay neighbor's boyfriend, bullies Jack Nicholson. He's like, "You're gonna watch this dog. You're gonna watch this dog. I'm watching you." And he's like shoves him a little. And he's like, "No, don't touch. Like, he's germaphobe too, on top of everything else.
That's a common crossover. Yeah.
And so he takes the little dog in. And the more he keeps the little dog, the more he realizes this little dog's like him. Like the little dog is crotchety. It likes when he plays the piano.
What are you doing, Fido? And he's compulsively washing his paws.
Like close. So when he walks down the street, Jack Nicholson won't step on the cracks in the sidewalk. He can't. And so that makes him bump into people on the New York streets constantly. And they're like, "Get out of my way, asshole." And he's like, don't touch. He doesn't want to be touched, and he can't step on the cracks. And he's walking through New York. So it's a problem. And he looks down one day, and the little dog stepping over the cracks too. And he's like, "Don't you be like me. Don't you be like me, you little fucker." And these ladies are watching him. They're like, "Oh, I wish someone would treat me like that."
It's
a beautiful movie. Like I won't go.
So the dog likes Jack Nicholson more.
Loves him.
And then Jack Nicholson says, "Oh, it was all a scam. I've had bacon in my pocket this whole time." And I think in watching that, maybe I was casually paying attention. I took it as true. But that was an act of kindness for the dog's actual owner.
Yeah.
Where he was pretending to have bacon in his pocket the whole time.
Yeah. Gay owner gets out of the hospital terribly disfigured. And it's time for the dog to go back to him. And Jack Nicholson's going, "Go on. Go to the fucking faggot." And finally he's like, "You know why he likes me more than you is I keep this bacon.
I don't step on the cracks."
Yeah. And It's just pitiful. He still doesn't want it. It's a great movie. It's one of
You've
my
never
favorites.
dealt with invasive thoughts and like the OCD shit. I was the most
So much.
neurotic
Yeah.
10-year-old you've ever met. Like so what he was saying, like lots of people are like, oh, I'm OCD. Like I was diagnosed OCD at like 10.
Poor
Like
ticks.
everything had to be balanced. I would be like unable to focus on anything in school because I would notice that I had leaned on the left side of my desk too long, and I would have to try and think about how exactly long I leaned on that side of the desk so I could counteract it with the other side. I would have to turn off lights and like check locks multiple times. When I was driving, the only thing I still do now is this next thing. When I was a kid, I would be in the back seat like driving, and I would have to blink like exactly between the two telephone poles, like estimating exactly where the middle point would be and try and blink on that. And I will still catch myself sometimes trying to blink at exactly the middle point between telephone poles. God, I used to have invasive thoughts. Like if I don't do something I knew I wasn't supposed to, my grandparents are going to die and go to hell.
Yeah.
And so it'd be like, push Johnny off his bike, or your grandma's going to be in a car accident and die, and it'll be your fault. And like, I wouldn't indulge in that. Like I wouldn't shove kids or do that. I would just be like, I know this isn't real, but like, you can't not obsess over it.
So
it's awful. Like everything had to like move the same way. If I walked somewhere like down the hallway, like, and if it was like not the right number of steps, or I stepped on, like I guarantee I looked like a fucking goober walking around the lunchroom as a 10-year-old, because I also wasn't stepping on cracks. I was walking around. I always thought, I'm like, I just need to walk the way that a knight moves in chess so that it looks natural and I'm still not stepping on the cracks.
Yeah, I had a ton of these as a kid. When we moved from Morristown to Ocean City in my childhood, part of it was for getting bullied for different like ticks that I couldn't not do. I was training my hair to go to the side, and I would brush it with my fingers like that, but way too much. And in 5th grade, there were like, or 6th grade, there were like teams of children that would walk pigeon-toed like I did and brush their hair like incessantly, doing this like Woody imitation of just making fun of me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I disagree. And, I had a sound I would make like by like sloshing bubbles through my lips. My parents hated it. It was like an embarrassment that was audible, and I would hit myself to like get over that,
like through the teeth and back, like through your teeth
on
to
the
your
sides like this. And
yep.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
And I have a bunch of these. And when Taylor talked about the balance thing, I was like, are you me? Even to this day, if Jackie wants to like fuck with me, she'll squeeze one toe and then stop there and just like vanish. And it's like, the other toe needs squeezing. We all know this. I'm balanced.
It does. It should be balanced out. Like even now as an adult, to be courteous, it should be balanced.
Everything in balance, little one. No,
I know that nothing bad's going to happen, but let's be safe.
Like anywhere where there's like folds of skin, like between your fingers, how they kind of make folds of skin sometimes, depending on it. Like I would be constantly doing this, like sort of like exercising that to make that. I don't know what it was to get to stop. And then like the corners of your eyelids, I'd constantly be going to like open them up all the way so they wouldn't stick, and then like corners of my mouth too. And then my hair, oh my God, they thought I was gay because I'd twirl my hair all fucking day. I'm twirling. Yeah, that's
because they call me twirling my hair with my classmate's dick in my mouth.
Nobody else twirls their hair when they suck it, Kyle. Sorry, the tick.
It's coming off as a little gay.
I'm always twirling I wasn't pulling it out, thank God. I remember there was a girl who did pull her hair out. I remember her name, Renee Rice. Renee Rice pulled her hair out until she had these bald patches everywhere. And I'm sure it was something terrible at home was happening or whatever, but I didn't do that. But I twirled that shit and I made these little, little ponytails, and I'm just like, I don't know how to braid hair or anything, but I'm like making little twirling that shit up for whatever reason and incessantly. And then the inside of my mouth, like the inside of my cheeks, I'm biting it. I'm like chewing it.
Like open wounded kind of?
I can still feel them. They're rough now because as a kid, I'd be sitting there for hours at a time chewing the thin layers of skin off and like spitting them I don't know why. The same reason you can't sit in a chair right.
That's true.
I don't know why. And now, like,
Wait, Taylor can't sit in a chair, right?
we just,
Yeah, I
that's
used-
his thing.
I used to
it's
fall
just
out of my
pressure.
chair at dinner as a kid all the time. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know why, but my dad was like, as a kid, you
Now
just
it's just
fucking would.
beds.
We'd be like sitting there. Now it's just beds. I'll just be sitting there eating. And he's like, yeah, I would look up to a huge noise. And Taylor, you'd just be on the ground. Like, because you'd be, I guess I would sit on the chair and try to just like lean while I was eating and balance on the two legs and made an
I've
ass of
developed
The thing
myself.
I do now, I wonder if people relate to this. I sometimes take my mouse, I wish you could see it, and I'll like go back and forth over one side of the window. In this case, it's my browser. And then I have to do the left side enough times
No.
to even it out and then put it in the center.
Yeah.
No, that's
You know what I do? The areas in between where all of our screens are, like I'll often like move my mouse like to make sure I'm not touching the screen.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
I still have this.
I don't know where. Oh, of course.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm interrupting you, but I'm thank you. It's almost as if you don't get over it, but you choose things that are totally tolerable, right? Like I have a bunch of tics.
Makes sense.
When I get into the elevator, I just fucking blink hard and freak the fuck out with like my facial expressions. But I don't have like audible tics.
Hey, dude,
that-
look on camera, B. This guy is sketching out in the elevator.
Yeah. Oh my god. Elevators are like a thing for like I have.
Is it
mild
claustrophobia?
No, it's privacy. Like, oh my gosh, I've been suppressing
can
this
let
at this
go.
event for so long that I'm ready to just like let go.
Like the fart you take after a date. Like as soon as she's out of that car. Oh my God. The biggest farts of my life have been after women got out of my car after a 4-hour date.
Yeah.
It's that fart that you've bottled them up till they go back up your intestines. You're like, oh, I hope that's healthy.
You feel it like you the reverse gurgle up, like
Yeah.
that one's
Yeah,
in my
you-
stomach
like-
now.
like-
my next burp's gonna be stinky.
I mean, being a nice restaurant should have cushioned chairs. Do not sit me on that hard piece of wood. Embarrass me in front of these people. So like, those girls would get out of my car, and it's just, and I'm just like, oh,
It hits like the resonance frequency of the windows, and it's like a bass. It's like Dolby Digital.
yeah, the tolerable thing, like switching to tics that are more tolerable and less visual. Like now, it's cracking my knuckles and my toes. Like I gotta get them all exercised, and I call it limbering up.
Is it bad for you? I never got.
I've done a little research
That's an
on
old
this
wives'
because
tale.
I was worried because they started hurting,
Mhm.
especially like the little ones on the pinkies. Because I do this thing where I start at here and like roll over,
Mhm.
popping them like fucking Batman or
Mhm.
some shit. That's where I saw it the first time. I distinctly remember watching Batman crack his knuckles and being like, "That's my thing now. I'm the knuckle cracking guy. I'm the knuckle cracking guy." And now I can't stop. And before I started taking testosterone, the pinky ones were really hurting, so much so that I had to be like, stop doing it. I would go to do it and I'd be like, you're hurting yourself. Stop. And it went away. Like, it felt like I was developing minor arthritis, and then it just stopped hurting.
And it's
but
fine to do this. It
I-
sounds like it's bad.
the internet says it's not bad for you, and that
Yeah,
the
I heard
wives' tales tell you that it will cause arthritis. My thought is I do it so much and so hard that I might be an outlier in this regard. And they're like, yeah, popping your knuckles doesn't hurt. How often do you do it? I don't know, once a week. Oh, because I do it 15 times an hour.
Yeah. The second they recharge, I pop them again.
Yeah, as soon as I recharge, I'm ready to go again. And I'm doing it now. Like I have the same,
You're
across.
backwards cracker. I don't like that.
No. I go first. I go down, and then I go across, get any like leftovers, and then I hit every little mini digit, like all the way down.
You can
including
get
my
4
thumb.
pops per finger, and you have to get all 4. Otherwise,
I get my thumbs, like I'm going to town, and then I'm moving to the feet. Yeah, that's a problem.
Taylor, what happens if a knuckle won't crack?
Oh, nothing. I'm
Nothing,
like, I don't
okay.
actually care. It's just more like, you know, sometimes you try and pop a knuckle and like it won't go, and then you go a little too hard, and you're like, it wasn't ready, and I like hurt my finger a little bit. That was
Yeah.
stupid. Like that's all I'll do.
I can crack my big toe. I kind of bend it and pull it out. And it gives me a nice big toe knuckle crack.
You guys have seen me do it, but I bend all my toes down like my
Yeah.
fingers.
I
Like
hate
all of them go down like this, and they all pop like from bending them down
Yeah,
from the big one
that's
to the little
not
one.
normal.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. It doesn't
Is
hurt.
it called Swan's disease? Do you have that? Or am I
There's a
making
swan
something
neck
up?
deformity thing that I think affects, my finger there and like all my hand joints. I think it's probably, in other places because my shoulders dislocate fairly easily. I've done it. They haven't popped out where I'm screaming, but it's been like, oh no, it was just about to. Like there's this intense, sharp pain if I lift my shoulder the wrong way. And it's not like a nagging injury, like a sore thing. It's like you engaged that joint in the perfect way with weight so that it was just about to come out. I've done it before with cables and stuff like that. If I just lift it up a certain way, I get this piercing pain. But again, it's not like that's an injured sore spot. It's like you're about to throw your shoulder out. So I don't know. But I try not to do too many ticks anymore. I will say every now and then if I have an intrusive thought, I'll remember some stupid thing I said in 5th grade and embarrassed myself, and I'll go, fuck! I'm like, what are you yelling out loud for? Ain't nobody here. I'll literally have a little Tourette's moment where I like curse from like that thought will hit me and it'll hurt a little. So why'd you say that?
Like, God, I'm such a cringe idiot. I hate myself.
Oh my God. I mean, it's not quite like I think you've got the most embarrassing moment I've ever heard with that poop story.
Yeah, that was rough, man.
But I'll think back to moments like that I've had, and I'll just be like, inward. I'm all alone. I'm not,
you just say it to get it out, get those feelings out. A little hard R therapy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what he's meaning.
I heard inward, and I'm like, I don't understand what inward as opposed to outward. Like, I totally lost on the joke.
That's because you're a good white man. You're an ally.
Yeah, what I'm not looking forward to is this onion that I cut up.
Can you take so we see it better? It's hard to see through the plastic wrap. There it is.
Oh, that's an onion.
It's a bunch. I picked the most acrid white onion I could find, Kyle, for you.
Very nice.
And my eyes hurt.
Pouring cranberry juice into it. I don't know what the effect of that.
I don't know. I was just joking around about making it as horrific as possible. I was like, you're gonna pour juice on there and eat it like
tomato
cereal,
juice.
right?
I hope, and not V8 because that's actually
tomato would actually be good because then you've almost got a soup, right? Tomato and onion.
I'm not good
little known
food.
fact. Packed with protein, superfood.
There's no protein in there at all, not even a little.
There's so much protein in it.
You lie to yourself.
It's packed with protein.
It's mostly acid and fiber.
What the audience doesn't know is he cut that onion at that desk shortly before the show. And when we all get on a few minutes before the show starts, both his eyes are so red. He had been crying, I assume.
Tearing up over there.
There's no way I'm going to be able to eat an entire onion.
No one can eat an entire onion. You just finished off that slice.
Well, is that a dare?
Maybe 2 or 3 more.
I mean, that's gayer than twirling your hair.
I mean, I eat my onions by the bushel, but if you want to one at a time, all right.
Yeah.
I'm going to get all sorts of I'm going to get every bit of vitamins from this onion because I haven't eaten anything today.
There can't be much nutritional value in an onion.
Zach, go ahead and pull the nutrition value on an onion up.
Yeah, that's a white onion, Zach, not yellow, which was a poor choice.
You know what? I was about to really pull a sweet tea in a vodka bottle and buy a Vidalia onion. And I was like, someone would probably be able to tell.
Sweet onion. Yeah.
What's a Vidalia onion?
It's kind of down here in Vidalia, Georgia. It's the only place in the world you can get a Vidalia onion is Vidalia, Georgia. It's kind of like
is that true?
It is.
It's like it's not champagne unless it's from the Champagne region of France.
That's exactly what the comparison I was going to use. They're sweet onions. They're very large. Sometimes, like I've seen them huge. They're the onions that we use for like blooming onions. There was one time where I had a blooming onion making kit, and you buy these 3 or 4 pound onions that are huge, and you make a whole gigantic blooming onion.
I've tasted bloomin' onion and I like it, but even the fattest, most decadent version of me didn't really eat bloomin' onions. It was just too much.
It's so good. That dipping sauce is so good. That's it's just mayonnaise and fucking spices or something. But yeah, bloomin' onions are amazing. But no, I mean it's a giant fried battered onion, right? I was underwear shopping on Amazon, and they make underwear that's like made to kind of hide everything and just give you this, I don't know,
like Ken doll.
like a Ken doll bulge, not hide, but like if anything, it's making your bulge bigger. But it's
like
just
a polite bulge.
Everything's this polite, smooth thing. Yeah.
That is probably what people should do when they're weighing in, because then it's like you still, they're naked, they're weighing in honestly, but you're not seeing the.
What if they got
ridge
flipped under their waistband and the head's just peeking out a little bit? Like,
dude, I would love that if Conor
right.
McGregor is like hiding his erection under his waistband, like 8th grader style.
He didn't hide it at all.
Did you guys remember like how fucking awful it was getting hard as a rock like 2 minutes before the end of science class in 7th grade and shit?
Sure.
Oh my, was your guys' move also to like really dig in there and then flip it all the way up to the waistband and then like spend extra time messing with your backpack hoping that it would go down?
I would try to get it to go down my leg, and if I
can't stand up with it down your leg.
Yeah, I can. And then I would try to like with my hand in my pocket keep it like hooked against my thigh. like to hide it. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And that makes you hunch over.
I had to hunch.
I would go with the
upward. I flip it up, it's coming out of my pants.
I would have it go up, and then I had two moves. I'd either put my fist in my pocket next to it so that it was the bulge that was like creating a tent, a dome, so that people couldn't see my other bulge. Or in my day, for reasons I hate, backpacks became wickedly uncool. So you had to carry all your books and just like zip to your locker all the time.
Same.
And so I would carry my books in front of my dick if I had a hard on.
That's what I would do too.
That's a classic move. Yeah,
you got to do it casually though. You don't want to look like you're shielding yourself from incoming fire.
Mm-hmm.
I would just leave my books most of the time in my desk, even though and just hope that nobody stole my book. Nobody ever did, but I would leave the book.
At your own desk in every class?
No, we're changing classes, and there's going to be like 5 more kids in this seat today. And if they want to, I just stuck it in the desk, like in it, in the little. They got a hole under the seat, right? I don't know. I don't know if all desks are the same, but our desks didn't have like a lifting top. They had that fucking bullshit underneath your seat.
Like a basket.
My books would be in there, and if I got to math class and my book wasn't there, I'd be like, oh shit. And I'd go grab like an extra book off because there's a shelf of them over there. And at the end of the year, if my book was missing, hopefully what would happen usually every time, honestly, is someone else had it. They just didn't know they had mine. But at the end of the year, they're going to count them all. Nobody's stealing a math book. So it worked out in the end. But I just left the books always in there because I didn't want to use the locker. I hated using the lockers.
Did you have books for all of your classes?
Yeah.
I don't think that's commonplace anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I think a lot of times the book stays with the classroom or they do some sort of virtual book.
I actually did the opposite of what you did, Kyle, for maybe it was my junior and senior year of high school. I had a bigger backpack and every single book and every single thing I needed for school I kept in there because they were those stacked lockers. We were in like a newer hallway that they had redone and didn't have those long, narrow, all the way up lockers. They had like the girthier, shorter, stacked on top lockers. And the girl who had the locker under mine was so goddamn fat and slow that I got tired of like waiting for her to just fiddle fuck around with her locker and like wait to get to it. And so I just decided like a week into that year, like, goddamn, Sarah, fuck you. Like I am carrying all my bags or all my books with me the rest of the year. Never went back to that locker. Never had to use it.
I had a locker, but I didn't know the combination. Like at the beginning of the year, they're handing them out. Yeah, give me one. But then I ended up using it and I kind of forgot the combination. If I'd really needed it, I could have gone somewhere, I guess, and asked about it, but it never came up. And then when I pulled my stink bomb prank, when I'd been terrorizing the school for half a week, dropping stink bombs out my pants leg and stinking up the hallways.
Like the Great Escape.
Just dropping them. Like Andy Dufresne dropping the dirt out through his pocket. Like I would do that with stink bombs walking down the hallway, and some other kid back behind me, I'd hear as he stepped on that glass. Perfect crime. Until they figured out it was me, and the principal's got me in his office interrogating me.
Well, then explain the stinky pant leg, Kyle.
Somebody ratted me out. You
must have ratted yourself out first, right? You told a friend, your friend.
Oh, yeah. For sure. I mean, half the fun is that everybody knows. But anyway, I got ratted out or something. And or maybe they use an algorithm. It's always happening near Kyle. It could only be one of 4 students, and this girl's in a wheelchair, and this one's. But they figured out it was me, and I'm like, nah, it's not me. It's not me. And it's like, we're gonna look, and they've searched me, my person, and everything. I don't have anything on me, and I'm like, you can. We're gonna look in your car. We'll look in your locker. I'm like, look in my locker. Look in my car. I don't care. I don't have anything to hide. And then he got up to actually go to my car, and I was like. So when we get there, you'll find quite a bit of stink bombs. I'll get them out for you. And I was like, he called my bluff, right? Like, but he's like, yeah, and let's leave
the car, throw your keys in the woods. Oops.
That's what I should have done. Like what I should have done was like, call the cops if you want to search my car, and told my dad, like, don't. Dad would have been on my side, like no matter what. Even if like I'm in the wrong, he'd have been like, you're not search. That's my truck. You're not searching that truck. Get out of here. You know what? Yeah. I'm taking it home right now. Kyle, come home in mine. Like something like that would have happened. He just like, but instead we're walking out the parking lot. I'm going to hand over stink bombs. It's not that big of a deal anyway. It's a couple days suspension. But he's like, and which one of these lockers is yours? And I'm like, I don't really know. And I didn't. And he's like, well, what's the combination for? I don't know that either. And now they think I'm lying and hiding something bigger than stink bombs. So they're like, which one of these lockers is yours? I'm like, I was just lying. I don't have a locker that I use. And they didn't believe me. It took forever to clear my name. They suspended me for 2 fucking days.
To clear my name for something.
Clear your name is the phrase you're looking for.
To serve my, and then I thought it was interesting. It was 2 days suspension for stink bombs, but it was also.
Did you get to be home
out of school? No, we didn't do in-school suspension in high school.
That's like a cop getting paid vacation.
Yeah, well, if you miss 5 days, you fail. So you can't graduate if you miss 5 days in any one class. You know, that's what we did. And so there's 2 down, and I don't miss days, you know, because I got to save up for. I got suspensions coming, right? I can't be willing. I'll come in sick because I know a suspension's probably coming. But it was the same 2-day suspension for hitting that teacher. I hit that teacher, and I thought they were going to expel me or call the cops, but they just gave me 2 fucking days out of school. Like it was the same as dropping a stink bomb in the hallway. I couldn't believe that.
That's much more serious than stink bomb.
Seems so much more serious. When I think back on it, it makes me nervous. Like, I can't believe I fucking hit that dude.
I can't believe I hit a teacher.
He was so much bigger than me. That dude was 6'4".
Yeah. What's he going to do? Beat the shit out of you? Like,
that's what
he'll go to jail.
That's what my dad said. He's like, what a pussy. Why couldn't he just slap the shit out of you? And I was thinking like, yeah, if he'd slapped me, I wouldn't have said shit. I wouldn't have told on him. I'd have just taken it, you know, because I'd have deserved it. I'd have
middle school
appreciated
teacher. You probably have because you're on Reddit too, but middle schooler threw a chair at a middle school teacher, and he'd had enough. He throws a chair back and just like beans this middle schooler. And then he throws another and another. And I'm like, actions have consequences. All righty. That's what's up.
Damn, he's just throwing chair after chair. Just
3, if I recall.
A guy who has hit his limit.
I saw a black student start a fight with a black teacher, and then I watched the black teacher finish it. The black teacher is wearing a skirt, and she's got so much ass. Her whole ass is out because she is like full mount on the student, and her move of choice is taking both her hands and putting it on the girl's skull and just grinding it into the concrete, just holding the kid down. And she's going, get a teacher, like telling the other kids to get a teacher, but she's not going to let her go. And the kid's going, ah!
How did this start? The
kid 100% asked for it.
Yeah. Like don't think child, think like nappy-headed hoe coming at you with everything she's got.
You can't say that.
John Imus got away with it.
He did not. He lost his job.
No, I'm pretty sure
there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's just that he said it about those fine Rutgers basketball players who didn't deserve it. They were just out there playing their best game. They don't deserve to be judged on their appearance, but I don't think being nappy-headed is in any way like offensive.
Well, that's not all you said.
Hose?
That's a little offensive.
Is hose offensive?
I don't think hose is offensive. I think.
Well, I take hose back. Anybody out there that was offended or felt that I was targeting them, singling them out.
I'm just afraid you're going to get in trouble. That's all.
You take hose back.
Yeah, I take host
That's
back.
hilarious.
I take host back.
She's a nappy-headed girl.
Yeah. How about enough of that?
Railing on her. I love the teacher combat. I love seeing when the teachers have had enough. I've seen a bunch lately where it was a black teacher who just had a fucking enough. There's two type of videos. There's the poor white lady who's recording her own face as she tries to talk reason to the class, and she's like, "Please stop. Please stop. Please sit down. Please get off that. Please put that down." And they're screaming, "Fuck you! Fuck you!" And they're going crazy over there like the Exorcist. She's, please stop. She's got nothing.
See, she needs a gun.
Well, we're working on that. And then I love the black
Cruz.
male teacher who's probably like the baseball coach or something like that. But they're making him do math.
Yeah. there were so many of those teachers in high school. It's just some fucking retard who taught football, and he also was familiar with shapes, and so he taught geometry. I remember that.
And
this
then
one I know for sure is a circle.
Yeah. Thanks, coach.
Yeah. But that guy's not used to getting disrespected. So he doesn't do that shit where he's like, "Please sit down, please sit down." They lay their hands on him and he's like, "Okay, here we go." I've seen him just grab kids up and throw their whole bodies across the room. That's great.
It's been a few years. I saw one where this was it was high school, and the student was an athletic. Like, picture a 15-year-old fit black kid, but the teacher was the wrestling coach. And, so the kid puts hands on him, then instantly he finds himself in a disadvantaged position, being held down and all the students are appalled that the teacher had the audacity to win the fight that the kid started. But not me. Hey, you started it. He's allowed to finish it, right? Rules.
I couldn't be a teacher. That's one of the worst jobs in America. That's one of the worst. That is the worst. It's not white collar exactly. That's the worst job.
I think it is.
That's the worst white collar job there is. Then I would do anything before teaching. I would rather be. DMV is so much better. Let me tell you what working at the DMV would be like. You're on my time, motherfucker. All right. This isn't that waiting. And I got places to be. This is, I get paid by the hour, bitch. Yeah, it goes slow here, just how I like it. Sitting here on my chair, got my bingo.
I think by far the hardest job is being a landlord. And the
this is a good take. I like this. Yeah.
Because these guys are giving people places to live, taking
the nation's
all the
heroes.
houses. The nation's heroes. 9/11 responders wish
they were landlords.
that they were landlords.
Dude, this needs
in
to
the
be
most heroic city of New York. Salute to the landlords of New York City, the finest people in this United States.
You give that aggressive, emotional.
I think it's about the landlords what they do.
Like you're crying on the inside. You're so goddamn proud. That salute.
If you want to own a home, don't blame a landlord for buying it first. Do what the landlord did to earn that home.
Bird catches the worm.
He chose his parents properly.
Yes. Yeah. Just
You're the idiot who chose poor parents. Don't blame them.
Dumbass.
Why didn't you strike while the iron was hot in 1988?
Why don't you just get a big building and don't care if there's running water in it, and then shove a bunch of people in there on government subsidies and you get your money?
You know what what I always do come back to is, why don't they move to a more rural area?
Who?
And anyone who's complaining about these things, about the high prices of things, they often live in these big cities where things are really expensive. And okay, you got to live in a city to do your job. Move to fucking Atlanta, bro. Do you know how cheap it is in Atlanta compared to any other major city you've heard of in America? Boston, fucking New York, LA, all those places. Atlanta's cheap as shit.
For a major city.
Yeah, my rent is like, I have a big house with many rooms, and it's low rent. It's my rent is double what I paid when I was 19 in a 1-bedroom apartment. And this is a house. It's so low you don't feel bad about renting here. That you get so much value for your money, and especially if you're splitting it with somebody. So, but I hear about these people with $2,500 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, and my God, how could you stomach that? Well, unless you're geared in, you're a guy like Tucker you know, who's really profiting from being right there in town where he can collaborate and do things. What the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you in Atlanta? Why aren't you in a suburb? Why aren't you in the country? If you could let go of being a cosmopolitan person in the big city, I bet you'd live a happier life in some smaller town where gasoline costs the same, but everything else is cheaper. Like the rent where I'm from, if you don't mind living in the country, you know, it's hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars.
If you're like a Twitch streamer who just doesn't do anything but stream from like their room, like you can you could be the king of Omaha. Like you could be the guy in Oklahoma City who owns the biggest house in Oklahoma City. You could have a compound. People around you will start to talk. Like
land is so cheap.
Yeah.
The property values are
in LA.
Properties like $6,000 or $7,000 for an acre. When you get out into the country, you know, compare that to just millions of dollars for a quarter of an acre, which is what you see in the cities. It's I don't know. I never hate the landlords, but I do. What I do hate is I don't like the blind hate against anyone who rents a property, because that's what I feel, what I see most on the internet.
Property.
Like
who rents out a property, anyone in general who accepts rent. But I really don't like the gigantic corporations that are coming around and just buying everything up over market values, driving those values up, and then just renting everything out. They own entire neighborhoods out here. Like every one of my neighbors has the same trash can. How'd that happen? Like every one of these houses is owned by some big company. And we're all just every month.
It might be my age, but I no longer have much patience for people who hate the way the world is, as opposed to the ones I admire who try to thrive in the way the world is. So like whatever, if you go into nursing and then spend your entire career complaining that nurses don't make enough money, dude, it was that way since before I was born, and I'm really old. Like nursing salaries didn't catch you by surprise. Oh, did you become a veterinarian and now you have a tremendous amount of student loan debt and your salary is not that of a doctor, of someone who's equivalently educated? You should have went into this wide open. Save the tears for your mom, who might give a flying fuck, because I'm not that guy. I don't care. This is what you signed up for. And again, like, does this guy own like 4 houses on the side? Yeah. He scrimped and saved during his 20s, bought some houses during his 30s, made some good moves. And now in his 40s, he's got a couple homes to rent out, and he's got some passive income. Do it. It sucked for him. I guarantee you, he didn't have a nice car when he was saving for those homes. He didn't take the vacations. He didn't, he missed out on a lot of cool shit so that he could set himself up for his future. Those options still exist today. And you just discredit everyone before you who scrimped and saved and like got ahead.
It's definitely different now. Like homeownership is not as easy as it was 30 years ago. Like wages have stagnated, interest rates are crazy right now. Just the market of homes is insane. Like, and so I understand what you're saying, but I will push back a bit that like this generation of young people now, like the possibility of homeownership that was available to people who were their age now in 1987, like isn't there.
So I actually agree and appreciate that, but there have been pockets like this before. I remember in the 80s when we bought our beach house or something, the interest rates were like 14% on a mortgage or something. It was really high. And I remember my father, I think he got an 11% mortgage and was like, damn, we're doing pretty well. They're still way lower. What's the mortgage rate now? 7%, something like that?
Yeah, but the total of the house is so much higher.
Well, yeah. But what my point is there's going to be whatever 5-year pockets in history where it's not a good time to buy, and it's hard to time those and get it right, but it will get better.
I don't have your
interest rates will go back down.
I don't have your experience or maybe even your eye for this sort of thing, but it seems to me like it's not going to change anytime soon because of what I mentioned earlier. The way that when those companies come around, they don't just buy everything. They buy the houses you wanted. They leave you with these scraps where it's like nobody wants to buy those homes. Like it's hard to find a home that isn't owned by I don't know,
Zillow
one
or
of
BlackRock or
one of those
Because-
gigantic companies.
So much of the economy is red hot right now, and people don't think it is because they don't. Trump would have been way better at like talking about the hot spots in the economy, but the
Yeah.
fact that unemployment is crazy low right now and housing prices are high, and they had to raise interest rates in an effort to cool off the economy because we're kind of too heavily employed and that stuff.
Mhm.
That won't last forever. There will be a recession at some point, and
Germany's
all
in a
those
recession.
houses that bought those all those companies that bought those houses will lose their fucking shirt if they bought when it was high.
Two quarters of negative growth. That's a recession, right? That's the
Did you say
definition.
two?
Two
I think-
quarters.
Yeah, I thought it
Simul-
was two. I don't know. Somehow I
Yeah,
heard three.
Germany's in a recession.
Are they?
Yeah, I at least the internet claimed it was today.
Okay.
I think that a hot spot in our fucking economy has to be the fact that I hate that they don't sell this Ukraine thing correctly, because they say the U.S. gives this and that. U.S. approves $3 more billion worth of aid. What they should say is $3 more billion worth of loans. $3 more
it's
billion
true.
worth of loans. $286 million more worth of loans. This is the Lend-Lease Act. This is how we kept the Soviets, the British, and everybody else on this side of the Atlantic alive for World War II. The Russians would have starved to death, and the Brits would have too if it weren't for us leasing them huge stocks of food, guns, ammo. I saw a video the other day of Russians in a cave cracking open crates from World War II with brand new Thompson machine guns. You know where this
Tell me
came
what
from?
that means.
Lend-Lease Act. We sent them Tommy guns in World War II to fight the Nazis. They never got to that supply. They've been sitting in that cave rust-free for...
When did they stop using, like, when did Tommy guns stop? I actually, like, other than video games and movies, didn't understand they were widely distributed in World War II, like, to just regular guys. It's always more of, like, in my head, like a gangster gun. You know? Like, with the big drum mag on the bottom. They're not even looking down the sight. Just
Bonnie and Clyde would have one.
Exactly. Al Capone standing there gunning up, lighting up somebody's house. Were they good guns? They look sweet. They might be the coolest looking gun ever.
I owned one. I had my own fully automatic Tommy gun. The drum mags I always found, or at least the ones I had, weren't too reliable. But those stick mags, and you can reload it fast, were really, really fun. Doesn't have a lot of
gun
kick.
collection made its way to Ukraine, Kyle.
Oh,
we could arm a village.
Oh, they
Hopefully
sent
it's
that to
still
Mexico,
attainable
I'm
when they
sure.
change the
They
laws.
sent that, there's some cartel member with an FPS Russia fucking gun right now. I guarantee it. We ran that shit down there and forgot.
We're gonna
about
see
it.
some guy with an in ISIS like standing over someone about to shoot him in the back of the head, and it's gonna
It's a
say
gold
like
AK from
it's
an
gonna
old
say
video.
"Have nice day" on the side of it, and someone has his brain splattered on the sand.
Yeah, if you see like a chromed out fucking bullpup M14 or something, I think it's got my name on the side.
That one with the snow camo caused me so much fucking trouble.
Oh my god, yeah, I think that was the one. But yeah, we're lend-leasing that stuff to them. They owe us.
Do you think we'll get it back? I kind of thought it was like
the Brits just paid their debt off about a few years ago from World War II with interest.
Okay. They're a more successful country than Ukraine.
What we often do with African countries in particular is we forgive that debt. The next time we're trying to get them to do a thing, like, hey, how about we forget about the $8 billion in aid we gave you last decade, and you don't let these terrorists live here? And they're like, yes, this is a good deal. Yes, yes. They probably invited the terrorists to get out of the debt, but we're America, so we've got plenty of that kind of money to throw around. The CIA guy that I've been watching on YouTube was talking about, he was trying to capture this guy in Pakistan, and they were like, what do you need? He's like, I need 45 men. I need $2 million cash. I I need
a bowl of green M&Ms.
Like he went through this.
Just to make sure he read the contract.
It was cool as shit. It was like that. He went through this like cool ass like James Bond list of shit he needed. I need this kind of satellite coverage. I need these kind of phones. I need this, that, and the other. I need Overwatch. Blah blah blah. And the interviewer was like, $2 million. What's that for? It's like, I'm gonna bribe every motherfucker in Pakistan. Anybody that looks like they want some bribery money's getting it. He would just every step of the way. Hey, and keep your mouth shut about this. Hey, and do this, and just handing out wads of hundreds because he's got $2 million worth of bribe money
Yeah.
Can you
Money's free for
imagine?
them.
Yeah, of course it
I
is.
wonder what
Yeah.
2 million looks like. I bet it fits in a brown paper bag, like
I
a
guess
lunch bag.
Like hundreds.
No,
Yeah,
not a
no.
lunch bag.
Am I
2
wrong?
million?
I could be.
All right. I say 2 million is like this, like a big old.
So you think it fits in a grocery bag, and I think it fits in a lunch bag.
Yeah,
I bet you could. Yeah, you could fit it in like a brown paper grocery bag.
yeah.
Hmm.
I guess we're considering like stacks of 10,000 and hundreds. You know.
I don't know. I've never
Something like-
seen $1 million, and I don't even know how much money was in that photo in Breaking Bad.
Oh, that was like $20
have
million.
people I bet someone's done like math on like the size of it, on what it is. Is it 20
Yeah.
million?
Oh,
I think they
that
were
was just my
mixed
guess.
bills because
Yeah.
it's drug money, so it's
You're
hard
right.
to do.
Yeah.
But
Remember that mountain the Joker had in the Dark Knight movie? He had like
Yeah.
$1 trillion he was on top of.
That was so much money.
It was way too much money to be believable.
He's like
There's
coming
not that
down
much
in
money.
he's in a sled. Like, well,
not
look
that
at
much
my
money.
pile. Like,
It honestly looked like $1 trillion he had. It was like a kid in a castle. He was on top of this heap of money.
yeah,
Like if you fell off of it, you get hurt.
I understand. He just wants to watch the world burn. Get it? Burn all of it. Like, you got future projects, you've got plans. Those guys aren't working for free. Like,
What would that do
He-
for inflation? If you just burnt $1 trillion, like literally burnt it.
I don't. There's not even $1 trillion in physical circulation, is there? Like, there's no way.
I've seen
There's
something
like
about
the vast
this,
majority of money is not physical.
Yeah, I saw that there was some really interesting stat about the vast majority of the cash money. Maybe that it's not in the U.S. or something. There was
It's like
something.
speculation based on I don't know. You know what? I don't understand how the economy works. It's pretty complicated.
Our economy? I don't
Our
understand how
econ-
any
Yeah.
economy works.
There's also some sort of self.
When you stepped away last week, I was telling Taylor about our zip lining that time and how that shit got wet and went super fast.
mhm.
I enjoyed that a lot. That was fucking fun.
That
I
was
hadn't thought about that in a while.
Next time you buy a house, make sure you get somewhere that has room for a zip line.
I
It
kind
could be
of
like blank check. You could have a zip line right outside your bedroom door,
Well, I used to
right
have
to your
one.
car.
I've still got the cable. The cable's the most expensive part. It's pretty expensive cable, and it's a
Yeah.
long. You can imagine there's a lot of it. I think the cable itself was like $8,000. They said
Whoa, I
Jesus
did not
Christ.
see that coming.
You better
Okay.
have a lot of fun.
they stiffed that guy on all that. They didn't pay him. He came
Didn't pay
back.
the
and-
wireman?
They.
The people
Oh, the
who
video-
produced
Me and my
the
people.
no,
Yeah, we told them to fuck off. We have guns.
no, no, I wouldn't do that. It was the controller, Medal of Honor, whoever was doing the ad for Medal of Honor that year, that was paying me. I got paid, but they were supposed to, they were handling the installation of the zip line, and in my contract was I get to keep the zip line. It's part of my pay. And I was like, look, we're putting a zip line up, right? I'm like, yeah, I want to keep it. And they're like, huh, well, we use, and it was kind of a kerfuffle for a minute. And I was like, put it in the contract. I want to keep it. And they agreed. But then it turned out that never got to the zip line guy.
But like, what were they going to do with the zip line? They're a video game company, right? Am I crazy?
So to be clear, the video game company paid a zip line guy to come to the property and install a zip line, the little scaffolding you climb up to attack to get on it, the whole thing. There's not a lot to it, but there is some stuff.
Mhm.
So you have to secure it pretty well. But yeah, they didn't pay that dude. He came back and he's like, yeah, they didn't pay me. And I'm like, well, they did pay me, and they paid
sucks.
me
They
in
paid me
money
in zip lines.
and
Would a
zip lines.
would a zip line cheer you up?
Would a zip? How about go for a little zip? That'll
about
cheer
a
you up.
zip?
It always
Put a
puts me in a
smile
nice
on
little
your
mood.
face.
Mhm.
But it was kind of like a throw your hands up in the air kind of moment because I got paid in zip lines, and I'm sure he went to them, probably got
Yeah.
paid.
I wish
I
I
hope
was
so.
paid in zip line.
I hope so. Probably a small business owner. Don't want to. Although I also have a feeling he upcharged us on that $10,000 zip line installation, right?
No.
Well, like something me and like Jeremy could knock out in an afternoon if we had $1,500 and a little help, maybe a tractor. But
Yeah. Most important part really is that wire.
yeah,
You know?
that cable. Yeah, I've still got that spooled up. I was like, make sure we don't.
Was
lose
it on
that.
two like piers, like telephone poles?
I'd have to go back to the video and look. I
It's
remember
been a while.
they might have put a telephone pole in the ground, or maybe it was secured to the scaffolding. I know you had to go up a bit of scaffolding to get on it.
Mm.
And then it was a tree at the bottom. It was attached to it, just a big tree at the bottom. So you had to kind of let go, or you zip up into the tree. It wasn't like straight in the tree, but you'd still zip into the tree, because I like to hit that thing with some gusto. But I played with that thing for years after that. I would go out there and just fucking zip down to the bottom of the hill. It's fucking hilarious.
You're like
And
a
when they're-
child where like you get to one end and you're like like huffing back until you can get faster.
We'd put a vehicle down there and we'd drive back and forth. Everybody play on it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Mostly we would try to zip and hold. So the harness is lame, right? It's like fucking backpack in high school.
Yeah.
We didn't use the harness. We attached the harness, and then you would wrap the harness around one of your arms, and then you'd go down shooting a gun. So we were trying to slide and shoot, which I don't
That's
think we
fun.
did for the video, because it wasn't. It didn't look
very
safe. I was
dangerous.
gonna, and also like they're all amateur shooters. I'm not gonna. You can't let X-Jaws slide down a zip line with one hand shooting a gun.
Yeah.
It just won't work out. But we would do it, and but yeah, I didn't pay that guy. I felt real bad. I still do.
Poor fella. Brought his wire and his joy and he got stiffed. For
Man, that's
$8,000.
and that's a high quality photograph.
Yeah, could you
I don't even know who those people. I think that was wait. I'm sorry, Zach. Good on you. Will you please go back to that? I think that might be the Zipline people. Is that the Zipline installers?
is that a wire on their shirt?
It
Is
looks
that-
like they have zipline t-shirts.
All right, it's possible that's Jerry Baber.
What fucking year is this photo from? Like
It's their link. Oh, that's the Zipline people. Okay, this is the Zipline people. Yeah, yeah.
these are the zip
sorry,
line people. Poor
sorry,
guys.
fellas.
It's a 250 by 250 image. You're okay, Zach.
No, good on you. You literally found
Yeah.
a picture of the guy we're talking about.
It's a 1992 digital camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah,
the
I refused
beginning
to be
of
shorter than them, and I had to like awkwardly.
I did.
Like,
I saw
hold
you
one up
almost standing
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But that picture, that looks like the same quality. You know that famous picture of Chris McCandless, that idiot who went out into the wilderness and tried to survive and died.
Yeah.
In
because he,
Alaska,
like,
maybe?
lived in a
Ate the
bus. That
mushrooms.
stupid retard.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like,
I know that guy. Well,
Yeah.
I know of that guy.
I knew of that. Did you guys have to like read something about him in high school? It
I watched
probably,
the
Watch the
Netflix
movie.
thing.
yeah.
Did
I-
Leonardo DiCaprio play him? No, different good-looking young guy with blonde hair.
Maybe Cillian Murphy,
Phoenix?
Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix's next move is an NC-17
River
rated gay
Phoenix?
romance, and they said he keeps pushing for for more gay sex. I'm not exaggerating. I can't remember who his co-star is, but that's his next movie. It's like, how are you going to distribute an NC-17 gay sex movie with Joaquin Phoenix?
at Target.
Call back. It took me a
There
second,
you
but
go.
okay, well done. Well done.
Yeah.